Howdy, friends, and welcome to our call. Winder Lyons and Eddie Stone, the Eddie and Winder Show.
Back again.
Back again after.
I don't know if it's by popular demand, but it's back again.
Well, yeah, they're not beating down our door for more. But you know, we'll just take it where we're going.
Let's just do it anyway.
Hey, what the heck? How you been, brother?
We have been well. We have been well. We've had a wonderful summer, both personally and professionally, and the fall has gotten off to a good start. And so I'm excited. We just saw a lot of team members, not just from the U.S. and Canada, but from around the world at our mastermind event in Scottsdale, which was the first live event we've done, since the pandemic started, right? Since we were at our Acamall mastermind in Acamall, Mexico in February of 2020. So it was just great to see everybody. I mean, there were still restrictions we had to deal with relative to the hotel, number of attendees, spacing. It was interesting how spaced apart we were in the room, but nonetheless, it was just great. It was just great to be there.
Couldn't allow the normal amount of kissing in meetings, is that sort of thing?
Yeah, there was no kissing of babies. It didn't happen.
So you mentioned Mexico, and I know that there's another event coming up. Why don't you give us a little just quick thumbnail about what's happening with that?
Well, up until our pandemic challenge, we have always tried to have a mastermind event that was sort of the front for basically a rewards trip, because out of 4 days, I think we had 2 hours worth of meetings. And we've always done this, and we've done a lot in Mexico because there's just so many wonderful resorts. And one of the things we try to do is find resorts where what they do, their behavior and things kind of match up with our concepts about organic sustainability. And so we have this one resort we found in Acamall where on the front of it is this turtle preserve. So that means people can literally swim about 25 yards off the beach, right, which is not very far, and see these turtles in their natural habitat. And it's monitored, right? They don't mess with the turtles, but by golly, with a snorkel, you can just really see these things. And the entire resort is very eco-friendly, Rainforest Alliance, all this sort of stuff. So it's very just wonderful energy and vibe to be there. So we had such a good time last time when we sort of surveyed people that had gone. Hey, what would you like to do? Where would you like to go? They hands down said, let's go back. And so we're going to go back there in March, and it'll be performance-based like before. Very reasonable sort of a series of hurdles people can attain to get various levels of the trip, right? You can qualify for just the ground package. And the ground package, it's all the food and drink and things that you can possibly enjoy of the highest quality and caliber, all the way to the point where you can be earning an entire ground air package for a couple. So it's exciting for us. So we announced that, and anybody's going to look at email and social media, you've seen some of the stuff. We have more information coming out over the next couple of weeks, some additional videos and emails and things. So we're looking forward to it. We've got a lot of people that have communicated with us that this is the vacation they need, want, and desire.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking forward to that.
Now, I also have been really glad to see that you came out with a zeolite video. Why don't you give us a little taste of, for those who haven't seen it yet, and it's in everybody's back office, and you can access it from your front page also. But tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that we have wanted to do with our tools, we call them tools, right? So we've got blog posts and infographics and all kinds of ways to communicate with people about the products we have, including zeolite, Pure Body Extra, what they do, helping people understand that. And so as we just continue to look at those things, we've had some videos where I've been interviewed. In fact, we've had a lot of those types of videos, but we thought, can we take something and really condense it down to just the core essence of the message for somebody just wants to know, right? And then they can always dive deeper. And so we challenged ourselves to sort of write and develop something with simple animations that for under 5 minutes, you can look at and really get a pretty decent idea, right? You're not going to know every aspect of it, but I don't know that that's necessary. There's a pretty simple concept here. And so the team came back, and I got to tell you, Winder, so proud of them, because one of the things that makes a good marketing tool is how few words can you use? That's sort of the challenge, right? Because no one seems to have time for anything. I can't imagine if I were a novelist in today's world, because I don't know how many people read past about 200 words. And so I thought they did a brilliant job of condensing down this really important product and sort of managing, right, our exposures to toxins, which are clearly as much of an issue from a health standpoint as is nutritional deficiencies. I mean, it's just now this common issue of the problems that toxins and environmental pollutants can cause for us. So I thought they did a great job. It certainly has been well received. It is quickly now the most shared tool that we have. Now, some of that you would expect based upon it being new, but we're able to take and compare that to other tools releases, and then also digest numbers compared to our size, because we just continued to grow. So you would expect more. And so it's outshining everything we've done historically. And so if you're shopping for Pure Body Extra, the video appears in the gallery images on the shop page, right? So a consumer or a customer can quickly open that up to see it. Videos have become popular components of shop pages. People click on them and look at them. And so we can see in our tracking of information, people go to that page, particularly for first-time visitors to a page, which we can also track, and they'll click and watch that, and it plays a role in people's purchases. It's then also shareable, right? It's in the back office as you described, but now the number one way our members communicate with people is via the app. And so it is the most shared tool on the app. And one of the nice things about the app and its technology that's ahead of where we're at on our desktop operation is you can track if somebody is seeing and watching the video. And it also provides follow-up tools that are automated. So, in a busy world where people sometimes forget to follow up with people, that tool is doing it for them. So we're very pleased with how popular that's been already. And we've had people tell us that they're getting customers because of it. So that feels fun.
It's really wonderfully done. I was real impressed. And, as you said, it's simple, it's direct, straightforward, informative, just an absolute wonderful tool.
And I'll brag, it's all done in-house, whole team, writing, animation, everything.
If somebody ever wondered about the company, one of the things that's always impressed me about your operation is that everybody that started with you 9-10 years ago or more are all still there.
Absolutely.
Same folks. I mean, and what an incredible team you have assembled. I mean, what's the old expression? We're loaded for bear.
We are. Yeah. The only people that we don't have are, we've had some people sort of retire off into non-working activities, right? So good for them if that's where they're at in life. And depending upon when people watch this video, we have several new people that are in the final days of their customer support training that people will be hearing on the telephones shortly. And then a couple more already in the queue for the next set. So that's one of the areas we needed to expand because of growth, right? Which is an exciting thing, is just how much customer support. It's interesting how different that looks today. We get phone calls, but what we really get are chats and emails. And it's just amazing how much that's just how it operates in today's world. I mean, in my prior career, a company this size, you might have a team of 50 people in your support group because everything was by phone. And of course, now you might have a large number of people, but it's more about those skills of typing and chatting. And then, the way softwares and things work, Winder, which just blows me away. You can just flip a switch, right? When somebody's chatting with support and they're chatting in Spanish or Greek, and just have it auto convert. So you're having a conversation, but you don't have to do it, right? How about that?
Oh man. And now we're still shipping to 62 countries, or is that gone up or down? Where do we stand with that?
I don't have the exact count, but whatever we're doing is more. We are shipping to the most countries we ever had in our history. I think the most recent large operation country we added was Mexico, just not very long ago, and that's become a burgeoning area of growth.
I had heard Mexico was very difficult to work in because the mails were so inefficient, and the cartels were, you get stuff stolen, et cetera, et cetera. What was the workaround there to get them to that point?
I can't speak to some of the details, right? Because, I think any country, there are some flaws to the mail system, right? So
not ours.
You could find people with a fair number of complaints, but what we've tried to do is just work with well-seasoned courier services that have high efficiency ratings, on-time delivery, and these kinds of things. So we've vetted great partners. And what people don't realize is in today's world, you may have, let's say, an end carrier of the U.S. Postal Service or the French Postal Service or DHL or FedEx, but how it left our warehouse, different service. And so there's all these shared resources to get to kind of a final delivery entity. We're dealing with sort of one master entity back off at the warehouse, but they use all kinds of services rated upon how well does one service deliver in a certain area versus another. And I think that's what's improved all over the world, if you're willing to pay for it, because it costs a little more. Service in this delivery space is if you are using these services where they're going to go with the best service for the given area. And that's what we do across the board, not just Mexico, but whether it's that or Canada or New Zealand or Japan or Slovakia, whatever it is.
Well, Mexico, that's impressive. That's a huge market. And a lot of people have been wondering when Mexico was going to come on board. So that's really good news. Well, it seems to me that the company's been growing like hand over fist, so to speak. Where are we at? What's been going on the last year or two?
Well, we have, if I sort of sat down and think about things in context of people and orders and size, we probably have enjoyed, if I go year over year, about a 400% increase. Year over year.
From last year to now, 400%?
Roughly. We'll have, before this year is over, approximately 250,000 people will join the community. So that's combination. That's customers and VBOs, and so you start to. It's a big number.
Yes, it is.
And so it's exciting. It's exciting to see, and we don't anticipate a let up. People, it's clear that for some portions of the population, their interest in their health, maintenance of immune system and cardiovascular and, respiratory health and these kinds of things, it was heightened, right? Because of fear about the pandemic or otherwise. And that doesn't seem to have led up to us, at least from what we see in the aggressive nature of growth and people contacting us and kind of the questions they ask. They're looking for reasonable, simple solutions. They're looking for companies with good 5-star ratings and that type of thing, and good service histories. And so we have a good reputation we work hard to maintain and sort of take care of any kind of mistakes or things that happen, because they do. So it's played into our hand to do that, but I don't see it slowing down. I don't know where that goes. I don't know if that means 500,000 people will join the company in 2022, but it's not unreasonable to think that that's out there.
Well, I just look at my team and what's going on. I have no idea really where it's happening or why it's happening, but my group volume went from 100,000 a month to over 700,000 a month in a little over a year.
How about that?
That's just about as spectacular as it can get. And interestingly, I did a chat with Dr. Norm Shealy, who's the sort of the father of holistic medicine, and he was the presidential physician, for those who don't know, and started the International Association of Holistic MDs. And in that conversation, I said, well, some people are suggesting that up to 80% or more of all illnesses, diseases, and conditions can be directly related or linked to toxicity. And he goes, yeah, and
Yeah.
so I think it's heading. I think what you're saying is true, that in the mainstream, in the aggregate, people are catching on that heavy metals and pesticides, insecticides, and obesogens are not benign substances. They have a profound effect on your body. And we have, not just the nutritional back products to handle what everybody needs on a regular basis, but we have the, I think, best way to unburden yourself that I've ever seen or heard of on planet Earth. What zeolites are just a flat out miracle when it comes to getting what is not supposed to be in your body out. And, you and I have been having this chat for going on 20 years here pretty soon. And talking about.
Are we that old?
What? Yeah.
I actually turned 58 at the event. And I think I met you when I was 37.
Yeah, I feel so bad for you. I'll be 76 in a few days. So yeah, whippersnapper.
You're looking good.
So I mean, go ahead.
That discussion, right? That's out there about toxicity. Here's something that I've just come to appreciate. I mean, one, the human body, right, can do a lot. It has built-in mechanisms, both with how waste leaves your body or sweat or how your kidney works or how your liver works. I mean, your body has native abilities to help manage toxins. But we now realize in a modern world that so many man-made chemicals are just part of our everyday life. And I think the numbers now are 100,000+ man-made chemicals that are sort of in consumer products. It just creates a body burden that, the human body wasn't really designed to manage. And so when you think about what the body can do, and then you think about food, right? I mean, we're all capable of eating cruciferous vegetables, deep green leafy vegetables, things that we know support the body's ability to eliminate and manage toxicities better in some people than others. No question, our bodies are different. We're alike, but we're different. Again, it's just this body burden. It's not enough, right? And so you get these acute issues with people, from a respiratory reactions to skin-related reactions to even cardiovascular reactions. People don't realize that excessive exposure, for example, to fires, which unfortunately are just raging globally. As much as we see in the news about what's going on in California and Nevada and some of these places, there's a fire burning in Siberia that's 5 times bigger. Maybe the biggest fire that we ever know of, right, in modern history, maybe not of all time. But we know that as things burn, even natural things like a tree, let alone when synthetic man-made materials are burning, some of the acrid pollutions, things come there, it immediately can accelerate a person's risk of having a heart attack, because the way they interact with how your platelets function in your blood and your vulnerability to blood clots, particularly if you have any type of heart disease whatsoever. And so we're just learning that modern life has created a level of toxicity that essentially, I believe, my opinion, requires that we do more than try to A, eliminate as much as possible, right, which is smart, B, have a diet that supports the body's ability to manage these factors. But you got to think about supplements. And I don't know of anything, period, and this is my life, I don't know of anything, period, that's better than naturally mined clinoptilolite at aiding and helping the body do that. So, I mean, we, as a company, obviously people know we're sold out on this, right? This is what we believe is one of those important tools. It's not the only one, but important tools for helping us navigate this, matter that it's not going away, right? This just part of life.
Yeah, and then some of these are forever chemicals, that we get on a regular basis. And it's interesting, if you look at nature, every time there's a poisonous plant, within 100 feet, there's an antidote plant. And that's how I see the zeolites, that we have this incredible problem. And here we have this amazing answer that if people will just wake up enough to realize that this is serious and that it is manageable, you can remove all that stuff from your body, given enough time and the right amount of zeolite and so on and so forth. You don't have to be burdened with all this stuff. And so many things are just preventable without the impetus of that toxin. I think toxicity is the real plague of our age.
Well, it has to be in the conversation. I mean, there are so many things that are concerning, but it has to be in the conversation. I don't disagree with that at all.
And we're not going to run out of clenoptilolite. You've got access to a mine that says we could, serve every person on the planet for a long time.
We could. We're very diligent in our sourcing, both to consider availability as well as quality and things like sustainability and other factors. And so it's an important thing for us as a company, even beyond just the scope of just keeping our supply. We think about these things a lot.
It's an interesting question. If all of a sudden this company just goes completely vertical and we start adding millions of people, are we going to be able to keep up with the supply of all of our nutritionals?
Yeah, that's the least of my concerns. Hiring people fast enough is something you have to think about, and the quality of people you hire. I wouldn't try to say to anybody that's not a challenge to continually try to hire good people and make sure good people sit in the right places on the bus. It's an incredibly important thing to myself and my family. And in fact, maybe one of the most important things I do in my role, we're about to come up on 10 years of this operation. And that may be the single most important thing I do on a daily basis is make sure we have the right people walking through the door and prepping them to serve and grow and help to lead this company. And so I'm not concerned. If it quadruples next year, we're up for the challenge.
Good news, brother. Now, what about people ask me occasionally, what's going to be our focus upcoming in the future for some new products or things that to enhance our product line? Can you give us any kind of hints as to what's coming up?
Yeah, so we actually announced at the Mastermind event in Scottsdale, and we haven't done this before, but we felt like the pandemic got in the way of us making some new introductions. Most people have recognized there's been some supply chain issues. And so the first reaction we had was to shore up our existing supply chain. And so we have a great logistics team, a great operations team. And so we did not go out of stock, and we bought up components and everything necessary so that disruptions, truthfully, we now have so many components if the disruption's 2 years, right? Whatever it happens to be, we're prepared for it. But that also meant that we took some attention off new supply lines and chains rather than trying to make them the focus. And so we have a backlog, but you've got to release things in a way that makes common sense. And so in the first quarter of next year, we will release a product in the fulvic acid category. Fulvic acids have lots of functions in the body. They can be a source of trace minerals, but they can also, as an organic material, be important with how the body, how the biological terrain operates, right? You might think of it in the same way that we have concerns about, say, how bowel health is in the terrain there. And I don't want to give too much away, but we have an organic product that we're excited about that will release in the first quarter of next year. And then we will follow that in the second quarter of next year with a fiber product. And fiber's got to be the least sexy subject we could be discussing, but I have a fair amount of my career has been built on working with fiber products because while unsexy, really critical for health, digestive health, maintenance of weight or control of weight or weight loss, blood sugar control. And so we've spent a lot of time, energy, and money developing a fiber product that will have a multi-service aspect to it, right? It's not just your grandfather's Metamucil type thing. And then that will also be the first time that we will introduce a bio-friendly bag. And so instead of a tub, people have been using bags for quite some time with consumer products, but they're not always what people think. They're not as recyclable as they might appear. Manufacturers are not really giving out the details. And so we've got a product that will be made, more than half of the bag will be actually made from organic non-GMO plant material. And so we're excited about that. And that eventually, once that's in the product line, then we'll migrate our other powdered products into the bags as well. So we're excited about both the product and that aspect of it too. Most people are probably aware that we are now a plastic neutral company. And that doesn't mean we have no plastics in our line, but it means that we are investing money to offset that with cleanup and then investing in plastic alternatives. And so we're excited about that. In fact, our event in Scottsdale was a carbon neutral event. So we spent the time and the money to make sure accounting for the travel of attendees and ourselves and the event itself. And so we are constantly looking for opportunities to make sure our interest in sustainability and our eco footprint makes sense with what we know our consumers and customers and members want, right? Our values are a reflection of their values, right? And so when we can do these things and not compromise quality or efficacy, that's what we're constantly striving to do. And then in the third quarter of next year, we have a couple of things we'll release in the CBD category. And then finally, in the fourth or the early part of the first quarter of 2023, we will expand the nutritional category. So it's a big agenda reflective of a bit of a bottleneck because of the pandemic.
That's pretty cool. Any hope of personal care items, shampoos and things like that sometime?
They are not on that near-term radar, but we are conscious of personal care products as much as anything because people want things that are clean and safe and also have an eco aspect to them that they believe in. And so that is not near term. They're just other priorities, but it's something we're conscious of. And that will be a part of the portfolio at some point.
Well, people always love contests. People always love ways to earn more money. Now you have this wonderful trip coming up to Mexico. Anything else in the pipeline that we ought to know about in terms of contests or things coming?
We are not going to, there is a next, right? You always have to know your next, but we're not going to release that. But I'll tell people a few things. One, we extended our three-peat bonus program. It's been so embraced and has meant a lot to people that are taking advantage of that. And we've also said that those that are involved in the three-peat program will get additional points towards the Akamal trip qualification, along with a bunch of other things people can do. So there's a whole host of things that they can do. And I'll mention a few things on the calendar. I'm going to be traveling with Craig Daly, our VP of Global Sales. I think we're in Joplin, Missouri, Independence, Missouri, Schenectady, Syracuse, New York, or maybe it's Skaneateles, New York, same area, Statesboro, Georgia, and Bessemer, Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, the first week of November. But that information's out there. He and I are traveling, lots of growth in those areas. And so we're going to go see some people and do some meetings all publicly available. And we have a wellness summit. And for those that didn't attend Scottsdale and you haven't had a chance to really see Dr. Greenberg, who's joined our team, brilliant scientist. And he'll be part of that wellness event along with Dr. Alex Lee and Cindy Clement, who's been a big part of our educational staff for products. That's coming up the 13th of November, if I'm not mistaken. we've got a lot of things coming up, but people just need to be paying attention to things we announce, because we're always announcing new ways to earn points towards Akamal. So for example, you can get as many as 25 additional points each month with your sharing of the PBX video. Then we can track that through the app.
Well, that's great.
So there's a lot of things there, but we'll just keep our focus on Akamal till Akamal's over, and then the next one will be announced.
Do you, some of us are not that tech savvy. Do you guys still send out emails about all this stuff, or is that just done mostly on the app, on the phone?
Yeah, everything we do has multi-communication points. So emails across the board with detail on all of our social media platforms. And so think of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think there's also Pinterest is included, all get the same information released, and then the app itself. But I'll just be upfront. People should learn the app. It's the fastest, most efficient and effective way to work the business. And when we look at people growing, they took the time to learn the app. And for you, young spring chicken, there were 80-year-old people at the event in Scottsdale working that app like a fiend, like they were in high school.
That's great. That's fantastic stuff. Well, as usual, sir, it's always an enlightening conversation spending time with you. Anything else you'd like to add before we close for today?
No, other than to just say that I really appreciate our community and just the unwavering dedication and support. It's just great. You just wake up every day with people that are hungry and anxious and looking to serve others and develop businesses. And we've got some people making checks now, Winder. And, we don't disclose, income, but golly Moses, we've got some people making lottery checks monthly. That's just fun. I know there's some doom and gloom discussion about the economy. Not this one.
I'm not complaining about anything going on in my team either. It's this is just brilliant. And,
you just need to wake up every day and clap. Send it out to the universe, just clap.
Grateful I am. And thank you for putting together this spectacular company.
No, you're welcome.
It's just over, I've been watching this situation since we opened, and it's just steadily gotten better and better, and with no end in sight of betterness. It's just spectacular stuff. So thank you.
Philosophically, we believe in constant improvement. That's what we try to do.
Perfect. Eddie Stone, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Look forward
Winder.
to our next chat.
Yes, sir.